Good morning. I am very happy to be here with you and to be able to share some of my experiences with you and to be part of this year's Asia CEO Women's Summit. Often we women ask the question, why? When what we should ask is, why not? Women have broken the glass ceiling. Positions once held by men are now held by women. Only 2 countries never had a female member in their government, Monaco and Saudi Arabia. Even Afghanistan has had women hold government positions. For our part, the Philippines has had not 1, but 2 female presidents. The United States, after 237 years, has yet to elect their first woman president. Yeah. In business, self-made female billionaires and CEOs are growing in number. Oprah is not the only one. According to Forbes magazine, the richest self-made female billionaire in 2013 is Rosalia Mera, owner of the popular Zara stores, followed by 2 ladies from China, Wu Yajun, a 48-year-old former journalist turned real estate mogul, and Chan Lai-wah, born a poor descendant of Chinese royalty, now Beijing's largest real estate developer. Oprah, interestingly enough, ranked only number 7 in last year's billionaires list. Women are also major corporate players. They had global companies like Yahoo, Pepsi, and Facebook, among others. So are women starting to dominate the marketplace? More importantly, how did they get to where they are? I found that a common thread among these successful women is that they took responsibility for their own success, despite their circumstances, despite their fears, despite rejection. Oprah defied the odds in a time and place where the opportunities for Black women were limited to becoming a maid, a cook, or a servant. Today, we know her as one of the richest women in the world and one of the most influential celebrities. J.K. Rowling was shunned by her church for being a single mother, was jobless, and saw herself as the biggest failure she knew. She was rejected 12 times by publishers who thought that her colorful, magical story was never going to sell. Today, we know her as the famous billionaire author of Harry Potter. She's giving Shakespeare a run for his money and is now more popular than Edgar Allan Poe, Tom Clancy, Leo Tolstoy, Stephen King, and Dan Brown. And then there is Malala, a 16-year-old Pakistani girl who was shot in the head by the Taliban for promoting education for young girls. In her speech at the UN, she said, "Weakness, fear, and hopelessness died. Strength, power, and courage was born." The Taliban hoped that the bullet would silence her, but instead, she used her tragedy as an inspiration for many. Oprah, J.K. Rowling, and Malala, these successful women created their own destiny. They are the architects of their own lives. One has to wonder, where do they get their courage? Where do they draw their strength? How do they combat their fears? The fear of failure is something we can all relate to. It is the one thing that can stop us from being successful in life. Everyone at some point in his or her career has experienced it. I, for one, had my own fears. I experienced a career high in my 12 years in a male-dominated, high-profile, competitive automotive industry. During my term, sales for both my company and the industry were surpassed each year. I was the first female to be elected president of the influential Chamber of Automotive Manufacturers of the Philippines, elected for 7 consecutive years by peers hailing from different countries, representing top global automotive brands. As a group, we at Campy launched successful campaigns against the most daunting adversaries on the issue of rampant smuggling, most notably winning a Supreme Court decision that rendered the importation of used vehicles that made our country a dumping site illegal. I was recognized with a Towns Award, one of 10 outstanding women in the nation's service, given by the highest official of the land, the President of the Philippines. A few years later, I was also offered and invited to join this current administration as Commissioner of the Bureau of Customs with a clear mandate to stamp out smuggling, the first woman Customs Commissioner. At around the same time, I was likewise invited to be an equity partner in 2 European automotive brands, was offered CEO position for 3 competing other auto companies, and had another joint venture in the offing. It seemed that my career and the opportunities before me were at an all-time high. That high that I experienced was also the most stressful. I faced a huge fork in the road. Decisions were not to be made lightly. Each offer carried its own menu of opportunities and challenges. Each would direct me in a different direction. Do I choose the path that's familiar, one that gives more security and even better compensation? Or do I choose the path that is uncertain, the road less traveled, one that offers more challenges? In the months that followed, the restful contemplation I hoped for turned into restlessness. Coming from what I thought was a career high, the fear of failure was very real. I thought I had to do something that must exceed what I've accomplished before in pay, in prestige, in size, and in magnitude. I faced the fear of not living up to my own expectations, asking questions like, what if I can't do that again? It is said that a rising tide lifts all ships, but a changing tide tests the strength of your anchor. I realized that the anchor is purpose. I found that successful people can withstand challenges, quell their fears, ride out the storm because they are anchored on their purpose, which most likely helped others succeed somewhere along the line. Napoleon Hill, who spoke Think and Grow Rich, says, no man can become rich without himself enriching others. His definition of success was significance, making a difference in other people's lives, choosing the work that matters. I learned that what stresses us is not the presence of work, but the absence of purpose. The turn of events in my life became a blessing in disguise. It gave me an opportunity to start from a clean slate. I chose the path that was uncertain, the road less traveled, the one that gave more challenges, but I believe it is the path that can make a difference in other people's lives. Someone once said there are 2 great days in one's life, the day you are born and the day you discover why. I learned that the deepest longing of the soul is purpose, and I did a lot of soul searching. I remember I was happiest in my career when what I did changed the life of another person. During my stint with Nissan, my mom and I came up with this innovative pioneering program, a first in the auto industry, to directly tie auto sales to poverty alleviation. We created a paradigm shift using the vehicle as a self-liquidating business venture to help supplement one's income. And for every vehicle sold, a percentage goes to a Christian Foundation's microfinance arm, providing money, seed money, for the poorest of the poor to start their own businesses. With God's grace, expected success came at an unexpected unexpected degree. Sales doubled for 5 years since its inception. We helped more than 7,400 families and created entrepreneurs out of janitors, street dwellers, and to include people who went from low-wage income earners to full-blown employers and entrepreneurs. Graduates from our school range from as young as teenagers to as inspiring as grandmothers. We have made a difference in the lives of the poorest of the poor by giving them the tools and helping them reach their potential. Seeing how what we did changed lives changed my perspective. It also changed me. In this slide, our new company was born, eMotors, a social enterprise whose main goal is to uplift people's lives, make things better for others using the products we carry, the circle of influence, and the business we're in. Our aim is to help a larger group of Filipinos, a larger group of entrepreneurs, and help provide a solution to larger problems using the lessons I've learned and the experiences I've gained to serve a larger need. Our goal is not to make money, but to meet needs. We create and offer a product that does not compete with others, but completes others. Our success does not depend on staying ahead of others, but on serving others. And our purpose is to glorify God. So what do we do at eMotors? We build innovative and affordable means of transport, used as a self-liquidating business venture that helps people save money while helping to lessen our impact on our environment. We are 100% Filipino-owned, first and only assembler and manufacturer of three-wheeled electric vehicles registered under our country's Board of Investments. Our electric tricycles are proudly built by Filipinos for Filipinos. My mission is to electrify everything that moves, is to have a great impact on poverty alleviation, employment and job creation, and climate change mitigation. Green, as they say, is the new black. We all have a personal stake in this green environment. We know that a bad environment in all aspects creates poor. The poor become poorer, which costs our government more money, which in turn costs taxpayers like us more money. I believe we are all responsible for the future we create. Hence, we have to be intentional and take action. Did you know that there are 3.5 million tricycles nationwide and counting? Add to that the cars and trucks that you and I use every day for our personal and business use. The problem of pollution in our country is huge, not only in the Philippines, but globally as well. Global automotive makers know and understand the need, and they are doing their part, but we as consumers must also do our part. The good news is we can make a choice now, and we can make an impact by our choices, because we have to realize and be reminded that there is no plan B for planet Earth. My dream is to have as many companies use electric vehicles in their daily operations, to help as many LGUs turn their cities green, to create as many entrepreneurs use our electric vehicles as a profitable means of livelihood, and to help as many entrepreneurs thrive. I'm happy to share that a number of companies have already taken the lead to protect our environment using our Zoom electric vehicles in their daily operations. Industries that include hotels and resorts, logistics and distribution, beverage, garments, food, pharmaceuticals, just to name a few. The path I chose is a stark contrast from what I used to do. I went from selling cars with emission to zero emission, from selling cars upwards that are worth upwards of 6 million pesos to electric tricycles that cost as low as 190,000 pesos. From dealing with CEOs who were the main staple of clients to SMEs and tricycle drivers who are trying to eke out a living every day. Getting into the business of manufacturing is still a male-dominated industry, and it is not easy. More so, getting into an industry that is new, that is young, and is yet to be established. The fear of failure in this new venture is real. Taking the road less traveled is uncertain. But I learned a valuable lesson from the book of Proverbs. That is, to fear is to fail. A favorite quote of mine tells us why. If you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you'd like to win but think you can't, it's almost a cinch you won't. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or the faster man, but sooner or later the one who wins is the one who thinks he can. It is said that the greater the dream, the greater the obstacles, and the greater the obstacles once overcome, the greater the success. How successful my venture ends up to be remains to be seen. But there's one thing I know for sure. The future is not a place we're going to, it's a place we get to create. It is not the pay, nor the prestige, nor the size that matters. I am happy to put my energies into something that I believe makes a difference to me and to others, but that I also tried to make a difference in something that I believed needs to get done. As Theodore Roosevelt said, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or how the doer of the deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who actually strives to do the deed, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of great achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Pursue the things that matter to you. Do things that inspire you. Everything was impossible until someone did it. If you own a company, use it as a force for good. If you work for a company, use your influence and be the force for good. Everyone can make a difference. No one can stop you from choosing to be exceptional. And in so doing, you would go from asking, how can I possibly do this, to how can I possibly not? Thank you, and to God be the glory.